Next, let us go for aims and objectives of GST. Till now, what we have discussed, features, characteristics, over. The taxes which has been removed, over. Even the state government, the implementation of the taxes also subsumed, over. Now let us go for the objectives. Prime aim. What is the objectives? The prime aim of taxation. Why it has been implemented. Why GST came into existence. That is the main objective, main goal. What is the main goal of the GST? What it exactly wants? That is the objective. What is the objectives of GST? To make an unified law. Uniformity. Uniformity is there in the law. Everyone, every person shall have to pay the same uniform amount. It is not that the rich class is paying less, middle class is paying high, lower class unable to pay. So that type of variations, remove that type of variations. To remove it, this GST has been implemented. So there is no variation, there is a uniformity in the entire tax procedure. So main goal of GST is to make an uniform law. And by involving all the tax-based laws and administrations, one country, one tax. The motto of this GST is what? One country, one tax. Our government says, if the country is one, the tax is also one. That is the main ultimate goal of GST. The first one. Secondly, to implement consumption-based tax. Consumptions, we can consume, which can be used for consumption. So this is totally consumption-based tax, whichever is implemented. To ensure uniform GST registration, payment and input tax. Not only implementation of uniformity, but also payment of uniformity in the payment of taxation also. So each and every steps, the uniformity shall have to be maintained. Next, to eliminate the cascading effect, the same thing again and again in characteristics also you will get. You will get in features, characteristics, you will get in meaning. You will get in aims and objectives. You will get it even in the advantage also, merits also, the same thing, that it is GST has been implemented to remove the cascading effect of the tax. Double payment of the taxes procedure to remove. To reduce the unhealthy competition among the states. First of all, before implementation of the GST, there was totally an unhealthy situations arises between the tax. There was a competition of unhealthy competition between the states. As much as they can implement the tax, they earn the revenue and thereby exploiting the persons. Mainly the exploiting the businessmen, traders. State to state it is different. Whatever they want, they just implement. And ultimately what happened? The revenue collection is good. But the general public is the sufferer. The businessmen are the sufferer. So ultimately what happened? There won't be any productions in our country. Very limited productions was there in the state. Because they have to pay more and more tax. They have to import the commodities from the outside states. Now that has been removed. So if we need to purchase more and more commodities from the outside states, then definitely our economic conditions can never be developed. So in that case, the elimination of the cascading effect and unhealthy competition among the states has been removed. One tax has to be paid by each and every one. It is clear, it is transparent for each and every person. Next, to reduce the tax evasion and corruption. So earlier, that was the corruption was too much in India, high level corruption. That's because anybody can charge any amount of money. The lack of uniformity, the lack of tax uniformity, any institutions, any tax institutions, revenue collection centers, They charge anything from anybody. Whatever they want, they are charging. Not only the white money, the black money also was there. The corruption was too much. So this corruption process has been now removed as because everything has been transparent. Nobody can charge the tax more than whatever it is there in the implemented in the GST Council. So this is all about the removal of corruptions. That is the main goal, removing the corruptions. Nobody can charge the tax beyond the limit, beyond the rate. Whatever the rate is there, on that rate only the person has to collect the tax. And mostly what happens nowadays, they cannot take the money in cash. Most of the thing has been transformed to the online payment. So this online payment mode make it very easy to make everything transparent. So this India free from any corruptions now in case of taxation procedure. So DST, GST remove these corruption procedures by implementing one tax, that too through the online payment system. Everything is transparent. Reduced, secondly, to improve the GDP ratio also, gross development product, gross domestic product ratio also has been increased and reduced the complications in tax administrations. Once the entire process of the tax is easy and one, so it is very, very easy to administer the tax rules, tax procedure. Same rule has been implemented in each and every state. Same rate has been implemented for the product. Of course, product to product it varies. Though it is varies to product, but the same rate has been implemented. If this rate is implemented for restaurant, the same rate has been implemented to all the restaurants. If this rate is implemented for the textile industries, okay, this 5% is implemented for all the textile industries. They cannot charge more than that. Hotel business, they have to pay the same tax. So this is all about the administrations, that complications of administrations which varies due to the different tax rates has been removed. So these are certain goals to implement the GST. Fine. Next review, let us go for the scope of GST. What are the scope of GST? Okay, now we come to know that these are the things, these are the goals, these are the advantages, these are the characteristics. But what is the scope? Ultimate, what is the scope of the GST? So everything is interrelated. Tax has been removed, one tax comes, principles are same, the rules are same, characteristics this one, goal is this one. So ultimately everything is interrelated. So what is the scope of the GST? All goods and services are covered under the GST regime except alcoholic liquor and human consumption and petroleum products. So in certain product, the tax has not been till now implemented. GST has not been implemented. I cannot say tax, GST has not been implemented. What are the basic field, basic areas where the GST has not been implemented? That is the scope. Liquor, any alcoholic liquor, GST is not implemented. Goods and service tax, alcohol is not included. As because this is not actually accepted by the law. This alcoholic product, that is why the GST has not been implemented. So, human consumptions, whatever the liquor for the human consumption is there, that has not been included in GST, that is free from GST. And as well as the petroleum products are also not included in GST till now. So, there is a planning for future. Let us see what the government will implement, right? Next, tobacco products are subject to the levy of GST. It is not totally exempted from the GST, And center will also levy excise duty. So that means this excise duty is still there in certain product, though it has been removed from the general product, from the general market. But for certain products, just like the tobacco products, this is also actually not accepted by the law. Alcohol, tobaccos, these are not accepted by the laws, which are injurious for the health. So this product has not been included in the GST. Once it has been included in the GST, the product, the government, it seems that the government is encouraging them to produce, which the government cannot do. So that is why, though it is not included in the GST, still what happened, tobacco products subject to the levy of GST. And center will also levy excise duty. But there are certain tax on tobacco products. Okay, directly it is not levied under the GST Act, but it is there. It is there, which certain rules are there, which has been implemented by the central government. Next, GST Council yet to decide the incidence and levy of GST on the following items. So there, the discussions are going on. The government, they have decided for few products, for certain products, where till now the GST is not levied. The further they may take a decision for all those products. So few products are there for that. Crude petroleum is there, high speed diesel is there, motor spirit is there, natural gas is there, aviation turbine fuel is there. So ultimately, all these fuels, all fuels are there, petroleum related, diesel related, gas related, everything. So these are the few items where till now GST has not been implemented, but the GST Council, they are now taking some steps, and they have certain plan to implement the GST. So we have to wait for another few years, I think, or I don't know exactly what will happen. The government will decide what is going to be happen in the next. But we have to remember these are certain uh, product where the GST has not been yet implemented.